to, on the one hand, deal with the problems of nature to man, but also deal with the problems of man to fellow men. The society must have the capacity to deal with those problems. How will you address human rights like food if the economy is not growing of the country? How will you deal with the issue of jobs if the economy is not growing?
Your Excellency, the privilege of having you with us today fills us with enormous pleasure and gives our meeting a special character. This cannot be surprising because you are the fruit of a people who have shown their faith in man and which produces under your leadership valuable people who give honor to Africa. How can we forget that Uganda is today the largest refugee host country in Africa? How can we forget that Uganda has given Africa prominent judges, including one of the International Court of Justice, our friend Justice Sebutine?
Let me express my gratitude to the leadership of the African Union and the African Court on Human and People's Rights for the confidence bestowed upon Uganda to be the host of this fourth dialogue. I also thank Your Excellency and the entire government of the Republic of Uganda for allowing to host the dialogue and providing counterpart funding alongside the African Union and the African Court on Human and People's Rights. There was a time when the judiciary of Uganda could not even envision being considered to host an occasion or gathering like this. We have come a long way, and we need to build on this by building a judiciary that will be a beacon to all.
You have done us a great honor, and I wish you good luck. It is my honor to declare the conference open. Thank you very much.
President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni at the 4th African Judicial Officials Dialogue that is being held in Kampala. Meanwhile, President Yoweri Museveni has highly appreciated the use of denatured ethanol fuel stoves, saying that the effort goes a long way in supporting the government bid to curtail and reduce the challenges the country faces as regards deforestation, especially in northern Uganda. The president made the remarks during a meeting with a delegation from Acholi sub-region, Best Bukona Agro Processors Limited, who called on him yesterday at State House in Tebe. The Archbishop of Gulu Archdiocese, the Most Reverend John Baptist Odama, led the delegation to Entebbe. Finance and Economic Planning Minister Matia Kasaija attended the meeting. President Museveni pledged government support to the project that is expected to significantly reduce deforestation activities that have hitherto been responsible for the cutting down of trees to produce charcoal. The project is also expected to enhance efforts for the benefit of the environment protection. The project's managing director, Praveen Kekal, reported that Bukona Agro Processors Limited has now launched into ethanol cooking stoves market with a view to ensure the protection of the environment, whereby people will not feel encouraged to cut down trees for charcoal production as fuel energy source. The Archbishop Dr. Odama reported that on top of his ecclesiastical duties, he is currently promoting intensive cassava cultivation in northern Uganda for both food and cash purposes.
For them, they are moving from sugarcane. For him, it's moving from cassava. And it's a very strong fire. So you Ugandans, you have been used to eat urine cassava as cham, just for eating. But it has got more uses than just cham. Chapula is the Cup.
Makerere University students have vowed not to stop striking until the 15% tuition increment policy is withdrawn, despite expulsion of 9 of their colleagues. The students were involved in running battles today with police as the strike spread from Makerere University main campus halls of residence to hostels neighboring the university. We have details from that side.
Rowdy they were, as they kept chanting, fees must reduce. The students stormed Makerere Recovery and stole coffins to demonstrate how they wanted the Vice Chancellor, dead or alive. Police was forced to use tear gas to disperse the rowdy students. The standoff would culminate into expulsion of 9 students believed to be the ringleaders.
We are doing our peaceful struggle. I don't know why the policemen are coming in, but what we are on is that today and tomorrow, and so long as our demand has not been met, we shall continue with the demonstration.
Inside, they chase the students who are inside the library, students are reading. So the situation is really bad. They find students, they beat them. The situation in Makerere is really bad.
26 others were suspended with serious warning as the strike entered day 5. Those expelled have been ordered to go and pick their letters from the Dean of Students. The expelled students were caught destroying university property and beating fellow students for not participating in the strike. They also destroyed businesses for communities neighboring the university.
Yes, there were students suspended at the Ivory Tower. But moving on, still relatedly from Makerere, the Speaker of Parliament, Rebecca Kadaga, has directed the Ministry of Defence, Ministry of Internal Affairs and the Ministry of Education and Sports to appear before Parliament on Thursday, that is tomorrow, to give an account on the recent strike at Makerere University. This follows a statement presented by the Minister for Higher Education, Dr. Jesse Muingo, which members of Parliament did not agree with. Susan Naonga has this.
1. The 15% fees adjustment shall continue to be applied on tuition fees for the remaining period of the 3 years.
The week-long strike at Makerere University has raised eyebrows across all domains. The strike that lasted several days was also marred by some chaotic scenes between the security officials and the students. However, although there have been attempts to dialogue between the university administration and student guild, this did not see light. On resumption of Parliament sittings, the Minister for Higher Education, Jesse Muingo, presented a report to the House over the matter.
Allow me to inform the House that the Makerere University Council, together with management, are containing the situation and are working with all the stakeholders to find an amicable solution to the problem.
But I think, Madam Speaker, the issue of human rights, the issue of life, deserves a statement from us.
I would like the Minister to guarantee the safety of the students who are here right now.
The report was rejected by members of Parliament, saying it was lacking. They said the report did not talk about issues like mistakes made by security officials and the way forward to the 15% tuition amendment.
If I may ask, those TVs which were destroyed, were they also striking?
Right, Honourable Speaker, it's quite embarrassing that the security personnel are taking our students like rebels.
Speaker of Parliament Rebecca Kadaga tasked line ministries to appear before Parliament Thursday and give a comprehensive report on the matter.
That we sleep over this, I'm given enough time to find out exactly what is happening and I report back tomorrow, Madam Speaker.
That one, the guild president has been abducted. Would like an update from you about where he is tomorrow before we start the debate. Secondly, we have been told that now the attacks on the students are not at the university, but are in the hostels. Can you assure us that the children will be secure and tell us who is actually deploying in the hostels?
And Madam Speaker, you ruled rightly.
A motion was also moved condemning the brutality against students.
The vote on the motion moved by Honorable Majesi that this House condemns in the strongest terms the brutality meted out on the students at Makerere University. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. No, ayes have it.
The matter shall be comprehensively discussed on Thursday. Susan Naonga reporting for UBC TV.
That is about Makerere University. Thank you, Susan. Ministry of Information, Communications Technology and National Guidance has implored the South Korean government to set up more information access centers in Uganda. The ministry's permanent secretary, Vincent Bajire, says that the center actualizes Uganda's Vision 2040, which identifies ICT as a key pillar in the country's development. This was during the reopening of the Information Access Center, whose refurbishment was overseen through a partnership between NITA Uganda and the South Korean government.
The reason behind this loud silence is because of high internet speed enjoyed at this Information Access Center through the national backbone infrastructure. For the past 5 years, the center has been instrumental in increasing access to information technology and improved government accountability.
The center is key in bridging the digital divide, which has been undertaken through offering citizens abroad broad opportunities of free information sharing, research on future IT trends and technologies, unlimited access to online content for education, health, e-commerce, uninterrupted access to high-speed internet access.
With citizens allowed to walk in and surf the internet on the progress of government programs, an informed population has been built. This is why the refurbishing and reopening of the new Information Access Center is timely for Uganda's digital development.
I was impressed to find it so inspiring to the young generation in Uganda. Like always, has been the proactive center. I wish Uganda Center will continue the best to serve the citizens of Uganda, to be equipped with the tool to be adapted in this fast-changing world.
Article 41 of the 1995 Ugandan Constitution provides for the right of access to information, except where it is likely to affect security. This could be why training sessions cover topics like e-government, project management, cybersecurity, awareness on cyber laws, future technologies, and IT governance. The Permanent Secretary, Minister of ICT and National Guidance, Vincent Bajire, wants the South Korean government to set up similar information access centers in Uganda.
I am delighted to learn that there is a possibility of establishing another set of ISCs, because by and large that will assist us to spread out of Kampala, but also to provide centers where people can access government services online. Given this performance, I implore the government of Korea and encourage them, if possible, to set as many as possible in Uganda, because we have demonstrated that your resources, the taxpayer in South Korea, we respect their money. We know the contribution that they give to us, and we respect it, and that's why, as the director has mentioned, we are one of the most productive in the world.
The Information Access Center, currently housed at Ministry of ICT, is a brainchild of National Information Technology Authority and South Korea's National Information Agency. It boasts of a fully equipped 30-seater specialized training facility, 25-seater internet lounge, and 50-seater conference room targeting civil servants. Henry Okrut, UBC.
This is the one that
The Center for Advanced Strategic Leadership and the Institute of National Transformation, in partnership with the Ministry of Education and Sports, is hosting a two-day conference on the theme Education and African Future. This conference has brought together a cross-section of stakeholders in the education value chain to address gaps that currently exist in the education system. It was officially opened by Prime Minister Dr. Ruhakana Rugunda at Mestil Hotel in Kampala.
The conference was also used to officially launch the Center for Advanced Strategic Leadership think tank.
Council is hereby launched.
This is a timely conference to collectively discuss the nature, relevancy, and quality of education to come out with solutions. The conference plenary and panel discussions will be organized around the three themes, which include innovations and trends in education.
I see this as a significant injection in the education sector in our country and perhaps in our continent, and I see a new discourse emerging on issues of education and its transformation. I think this is good for our country, our future, and also our continent. And it is particularly interesting because as in the four pillars that we focus on in the national resistance movement, really one of the four pillars is transformation of the country. And so when we are talking of transformation of education, we see this as a major input in the transformation of the country, because you cannot sustainably and meaningfully sustain a country without transforming its educational system.
The Minister of Education and First Lady, Janet Museveni, said the country must wake up to the challenges in the education sector, discuss and collectively find solutions. She appreciated this private initiative to advance the education system in the country.
The Ministry of Education and Sports appreciates this private initiative by CASO as a think tank. And I think we need more think tanks that can add value to the diversity of discussions about the transformation of our education system, not just in Uganda, but in the region and the entire continent of Africa. The objectives of this conference are very critical to the desired transformation of the education system.
The keynote speaker at the conference was Professor Thomas Rudmick from Canada.
Things that we're doing today, things that we can begin to develop today. And so not so much talking about the challenges of today as opposed to what can we do to transform education as we move into the next 20 years.
The diversity of speakers, panelists and invitees will focus on broadening the education debate while focusing on critical challenges and opportunities around the theme of education. Doreen Nasasra reporting for UBC News.
Minister for Higher Education, Dr. John Chrysostom Muyingo, has appealed to Makerere University to dialogue with all stakeholders, including students, the administration, parents, in order to end violence and strikes that result from tuition agreement. He made the statement while in a workshop for the National Council for Higher Education on the performance of higher institutions of learning in Uganda for the financial year 2017-18.
Over 40,000 students graduate every year, but according to research by National Council for Higher Education, 60.4% get employed, 20.3% are self-employed, and 10.2% are unemployed.
As a result of that, we've asked the institutions to ensure that when they are developing programs, they involve the prospective employers, especially private sector, because most of the complaints we get are from private sector. And even ourselves as National Council for Education, we have now started engaging the private sector foundation, including the stakeholders.
In order to reduce unemployment, Minister of State for Higher Education, Dr. John Chrysostom Muyingo, urges universities and institutions to place more emphasis on research.
Unemployment is on the rise, and more knowledge-based skills are required in the labor market due to changing technology and lifestyles. Where we'll be having so many people employed, technology has made it very difficult, has reduced the number to almost 1.
On the issues of strikes and violence happening in Makerere University over tuition increment, Muyingo advises parents, students, and administration of Makerere to embrace dialogue.
Down with the stakeholders and agree on how best to address the problem. For me, I would be very happy to see that the university is able to collect enough money for the operation for its operations.
Professor Mary Okwakol, the Executive Director, National Council for Higher Education, revealed the need for higher institutions of learning to train students with relevant skills to compete in the job market.
That most institutions, especially universities, are mainstreaming entrepreneurship into their curricula, so that students are also tooled in terms of starting their own businesses instead of waiting for a paid job.
She adds that the number of students joining higher institutions in Uganda is still low by 6% due to various reasons, hence calling on government to consider more funds on research, infrastructure and adequate staffing. Story compiled by Nelson Akatuhura.
Yes, at this point we're taking a very short break. We thank you so much for watching. On return we have more. Please keep around.
Does heartburn stop you from eating the things you love? Eating too fast, alcohol or spicy food can trigger acidity, heartburn, indigestion or flatulence. Your best bet is Better Cool. Better Cool works fast to relieve acidity, heartburn and indigestion. Trust Better Cool. Enjoy life.
If symptoms persist, seek medical advice.
Hello, Uganda! We introduce to you the first and ever My Right to Play Christmas Kids Festival 2019. Let the kids feel the Christmas Eve on the 21st of December at the Legends Sports Ground in Lugogo. Entrance is 10,000 shillings only and parents free. Bring your child and have an opportunity to play, sing, dance and discover their talents. Mujje tuyingira amazaalibwa nga abato basanyusa bato bannaabwe. Muleete abaana bammwe banyumirwe, banywe, bazanye. Kino kigenda kubeera kijjabe. Proudly sponsored by Legends Sports Ground, UBC TV, Star TV, U24 TV, Star FM, Magic 100 FM, UBC Butebo, Marketing, UMC Victoria Hospital, and Ideas Workshop. Bw'oyagala omwana okuyimba kuba ku ssimu eno.
The Parliament of Uganda will hold the 3rd annual Legislature Sector Review Retreat under the theme Legislating for Good Governance and Sustainable Development. This is in line with the National Development Plan NDP2 implementation framework, which requires each sector to carry out a review of its performance in each financial year and to plan for the following year. Additionally, the Parliament will also review the recommended benchmarks of the Commonwealth Programme for Democracy CP4D for incorporation in the wider sector review process. All parliamentary commissioners, committee chairpersons and vice chairpersons, party whips, chairpersons of parliamentary fora and representatives from the media, academia, CSOs, Private sector and other MDAs are invited to attend the retreat on Wednesday 30th October to Friday 1st November 2019 at Hotel Africana starting at 8 a.m. Please note that attendance is by invitation only. Signed, Clerk to Parliament.
Mommy, you can touch it. You can touch it. Daddy, what's wrong?
I've had a long day, Angel, and I have a bad headache.
Oh, I'll give you something that will make you feel better if you promise to play with us.
Headache? Toothache. Unapoumwa, unataka kitulizo kwa haraka gani? Mara moja. Pain and Fever Reliever. A quality product from Beta Healthcare contains paracetamol, caffeine, and aspirin. Beta Healthcare. Caring for all. If symptoms persist, seek medical advice.
Welcome back from the break. You're watching News Tonight, UBC TV. Transport between Palisa and Kaliro districts has been paralyzed for close to a week now after heavy rains. The rains that washed away a bridge across Saka Swamp that connects the two districts has seen residents resort to alternative ways of transportation.
This is what is left of the 9 billion shilling Palisa Kaliro Bridge constructed by government 3 years ago. It was to connect districts within Busoga with those in the Teso sub-regions. The current situation has left motorists, cyclists, businessmen and students from both sides all stranded. Residents now have to fork out between 5,000 to 10,000 Uganda shillings on makeshift boats.
Boda boda abasabaze esente bazira aye olwenjira tuli kugwa bugwo atero ne tuli bubi so tuli kusaba gavumenti tuyambe ebirukire kunjira
tukubira masimu tuwalaire mawulire buli ku kika kye radio Uganda naye bagayina otufa kwasa n'abantu tuli kulondera amaizi epikipiki giwala 15 gigwira amaizi gy'abantu gyabire n'amaizi
ayo kuzwa makezi tukali kubona ku mukulembeze waire Moiza aiza hano asobola okutuyambako kutwaho amawulire gaisu oluguudo lw'omukere paka ngedi basobola okutuweera ly'obuyambi obusobola okutuyambira oluguudo baiza batukolereku.
Gerald Ibanda, a teacher in the area, decries the current situation, saying many school-going children are unable to attend school.
I'm here. I wanted to go to Palisa to preach the gospel, but now I've found a bridge that has crossed. The water is just crossing, nowhere to pass, nowhere to take, no, everybody is now going down in the water. You see even these small boats now helping people to cross from here up to the other end, which is very weak. Our life is we are just risking our life.
The area chairperson, Wycliffe Ibanda, says business has been greatly hampered in the area. He adds that calls to their members of parliament to effect action have not yielded any results.
Kubanga entegisingo bunjegi begizwe katakwi mbale jikolesya lugudo olwo. It is almost a shortcut obita hoti aba driver ba saving 40 kilometers. Ebyabugaiga bingi abasubuze bange okuzwe Palisa abasubule abasubuza okuzwe ikalira abasubule Palisa tibali kwaba abasubuza bazwe Palisa okwizeno tibali kwaba kale kitemere ku aba districts mangi.
That's the situation between Kaliro and Palisa. Uganda Human Rights Commission wants government to increase funding to public universities as a remedy to the numerous strikes that have of late become a norm in most institutions of higher learning. The commission made this call during a media briefing on the ongoing Makerere University strike that is nearly crippling East Africa's ivory tower.
Makerere University students have for the last week been striking due to the infamous 15% fees increment. Proceeds of the strike have had a heavy bearing on both the institution and the students, as some have sustained injuries, been hospitalized, suffered loss and damaged property. The Uganda Human Rights Commission has condemned security organs and the students in equal measure.
Condemn the recent incidents at Makerere University
involving the night raid on Lumumba and Mitchell halls of residence, which were characterized by the use of excessive force by security agencies and resulted in gross human rights violations. Students should desist from acts of lawlessness and hooliganism as a way of expressing dissatisfaction.
However, to avoid reoccurrence of such scenarios, the Uganda Human Rights Commission has called for increased government funding to Makerere University and other public universities instead of the ever-mushrooming and fluctuating fees structures.
Government should increase its funding to the public universities and subsidize taxes on scholastic materials and utilities to enable Uganda to achieve its Vision 2040.
The Commission further calls for intensive research and investigations into matters relating to the causes and alleged imported ringleaders of the routine strikes. Rushoke Businge, a commissioner at the Uganda Human Rights Commission, suggests that allegations of external sponsorship of the strike are not a small issue to sweep under the carpet.
Why these strikes are becoming so destructive to the innocent students who want to study? If the problem is in the university, why go to Chikoni? Why go to Wandegea Market? Why pelt stones? Why do this and that? So some of the people participating, the students to be precise, have an element of criminal and they shouldn't be handled with a golden glove.
Commissioner Businge categorically calls for installation of CCTV cameras in almost every corner of the university, hoping that this will identify perpetrators of the uncouth behavior threatening to cripple the ivory tower.
I don't know how extensively our universities are equipped with cameras, CCTV cameras. That's another way of curbing crime. At all CCTV cameras, strong ones, and they should be managed so that when all this nonsense is happening, people can be put to task.
By press time, students were still engaged in running battles with security operatives as each side shows unwillingness to give up. Dorcas Kimono and Abdunasil Ruwama, UBC TV News.
Thank you so much, Dorcas Kimono and Nasir Luwama. Now, City Pastor Elvis Mbonye, also known as Prophet Mbonye, has appeared before the Criminal Investigations Department sitting in Chibuli over misleading information to the public about the ongoing mass immunization exercise of polio, measles and rubella. Mbonye's appearance is the second after he was summoned a few days ago.
The leader of Zoe Ministries, Prophet Elvis Mbonye, has made his second appearance at Criminal Intelligence and Investigations Directorate for interrogation. Accompanied by a section of his followers, Mbonye arrived at 10 a.m. at the headquarters on allegations that he misused his social media platform to spread false information to the public, decampaigning the recent mass immunization exercise of polio, measles and rubella.
And the person who posted it, who bears similar names with him, is not denying it. As far as I'm sure he's even come out and said that, perhaps posted something else. So it's very clear that it wasn't Prophet Elvis Mbonye.
Through his lawyers, on appearance, Prophet Elvis Mbonye's bond was extended to Monday next week as the Commissioner for Media Crimes was out of office. Mbonye faces cases of sabotaging government programs and other offences as provided for in the 2017 Immunization Act. Mbonye was summoned recently by the Deputy Director of CID, Joseph Obona, to report to the Commissioner for Media Crimes for an explanation on the alleged sabotage of government program.
We have agreed with them that we have been cooperative on our side legally, and they haven't been cooperative, so the Prophet will not be able to be here on Monday, but the legal representatives will be here to represent him in the bond process.
Mbonye, if found guilty, will be charged under Article 23 of Immunization Act 2017, where he will pay a fine not exceeding 960,000 shillings or imprisonment not exceeding 2 years, or both. Daniel Mugoya, reporting for UBC.
Uganda's Parliamentary Defense and Internal Affairs Committee has deliberated key issues with their counterparts in Somalia. This session is part of the itinerary of the Ugandan delegation that has climaxed their visit to Somalia.
Somali legislators have lauded the government of Uganda, especially President Yoweri Museveni, for his intervention to ensure calm prevails in Somalia since 2007 when UPDF arrived under AMISOM.
Have been supporting Somali people since 2007, I think, until now. Your defense arm sacrifices many lives for sake of to save civilians, to save Somali people from terrorist group. Those sometimes do not differentiate from innocent people and those who are fighting with them.
This was during interaction between the Somali members of parliament and Uganda's Defense and Internal Affairs Committee.
As I believe, His Excellency Yoweri Museveni is a part of our history, because when we needed him to support Somalia, he decided to send his people to Somalia and support Somali people. So thank you very much again.
Somali Parliamentary Defense Committee Vice Chairperson Muhammad Hussein acknowledged the bravery of the Uganda's team to visit a country whose security is volatile.
Some of the countries, neighboring countries from AMISOM, they are sometimes interfere our local affairs, but Uganda we praise that they are neutral for the political things in Somalia.
The Uganda delegation is led by the Defense and Internal Committee Chairperson Doreen Amole, who retaliated Uganda's support towards lasting peace in Somalia.
Even the worst pain reaches a point and it goes down. And with this condition in Somalia, I think yesterday was worst, maybe worst of worst. Today is fair. Tomorrow we shall expect the best. And that's what we are hoping for. So we thank you so much for according us your time.
Somalia has 275 members in its lower parliament, that is called the People's Parliament, with 68 of these women. Its upper parliament has 54 members, 15 of whom are women. This involvement by the women is a plus in this country that in past was restricted by the Sharia law imposed by the Al-Shabaab. Despite that achievement and many others in Somalia, tenterhooks are evident, especially for legislators that are targets for the Al-Shabaab that have already killed 3 this year. Mutesa Sila Haruna reporting in Mogadishu for UBC News.
Government of Uganda, through the National Water and Sewerage Corporation, has signed a memorandum with Vambeko Enterprises Limited to upgrade and improve water supply in Kapeka Industrial Park and the surrounding areas. The existing Kapeka water supply system was constructed and commissioned in January 2017. Initially, the project was targeting only the Kapeka community. The area now has an industrial park that has exerted pressure on the current water supply system and needs of Kapeka community, and the industrial park estimated at 1,500,000 litres per day. Once completed, the project, worth 9 billion Uganda shillings, will produce 7 million litres of water per day to cater for the current and future demands of Kapeka Industrial Park and surrounding areas such as Bukomero and Semuto.
It's going to involve pipe lay. It is going to involve more works in the water works, pedestals, and other civil works. So we are asked Vambeko to make sure that they work very, very hard so that they can finish the project within time and within cost. If they don't do that, this agreement provides for penalties for being able to come in and handle any non-conformance. We as the employer, we shall also make sure we do our part in time. I must assure Vambeko that the money is already there, the government has provided it, so there should be no reason why this work should not proceed as expected.
Government under the Uganda Wildlife Authority has started the translocation of 15 giraffes from Murchison Falls National Game Park to Pian Upe Reserve in Nakapiri Peak District. The first 5 have been relocated. Dr. Patrick Atimedi said that the exercise was done professionally despite the bad road of Muyembe in Bulambuli District that somehow affected the process.
The exercise of relocating giraffes from Murchison Falls National Park has not been smooth for Uganda Wildlife Authority officials, as the truck transporting the animals branched off Muyembe in Bulambuli district. River Nabongo had submerged the road, and at Bwihoge it was stuck in the mud for over 2 hours. At this point, several trucks carrying merchandise had earlier got stuck and merchandise offloaded in order to pull the trucks out of the mud. With the help of another Ua lorry truck, the giraffe-loaded truck was pulled out and the journey continued. However, the good news is the animals were well prepared for this journey. They were not hostile despite the rough road, the noise by the people and motorcycles.
Our robust mass transport crates, and we use that to bring them here. The crates are padded, so it's quite well cushioned and tightly fitted on a truck. So all this is to ensure safety, animal welfare, and
the Deputy Director, Uganda Wildlife Authority Fields Operations, explains how Pinup, the reserve where the giraffes are being relocated, is the second largest in the country. He reveals government's plan to upgrade this reserve in Nakapiri to a game park.
Significant steps that we are taking in realizing that dream of transforming the Pianuke Wildlife Reserve into a high-class national park. Of course, the government will work on the roads, so next time you can find better roads. Don't worry, there is a plan to make this road better.
Government is going to allocate us some money to ensure that we share these resources. Like I've given them an airfield, land for airfield.
Katakwi District Chairman called for immediate closing of cuts that would lead to the eating up of the reintroduced animals.
One gap that I feel we should add in terms of mobilization of the communities to be able to accept. We as leaders who have done what we have received, but I have a role to go down and play and say these giraffes are supposed to be delicate, they're supposed to be kept. Remember, they are edible. And the local man down there, if we don't go and raise a voice and say, don't hunt, don't kill, that calls for a budget for UA.
Mount Elgon Chief Warden Frederick Kiza said reserve is going to be introduced to more species of animals in order to attract more tourists in the region.
Okuleta ensolo endala nga buffaloes embogo nazo tugenda kuzongera kino naddala ezo ezibadde zisaasaanye nga teziri wakati mu ttaka n'ekira tuyinza n'okuleeta n'empologoma nazo ne tuzongera wano kubanga
5 of the 15 giraffes have been relocated successfully. There are an estimated of 1,600 giraffes in the country.
I can't wait to see them loading lions onto the truck. Away from that, the Office of the Prime Minister has advised the general public not to wade or be driven through flooded roads. A report from the Department of Relief, Disaster Preparedness and Management indicates that the rainy season is on its peak. It responds, the Disaster Preparedness Department has made deliveries of food and non-food items to the most flood-prone districts in the country.
is informed that the rain season is currently at its peak. People are strongly advised not to walk or to allow drivers, boda riders or cyclists to drive through flooded roads or bridges, even if when the floods appear low, below the knees or rim of the car. In preparedness for the floods, Office of the Prime Minister has made deliveries of relief food and non-food commodities to the most flood-prone districts. So the district of Taleja will receive 30 tons of rice, 20 bales of blankets, 100 pieces of jerrycan, 30 cartons of soap, 100 buckets, 50 dozens of spades, and then the district of Katakwi will receive similar items like I have read above. The rest of the districts will only receive 30 tons of rice.
Government has been asked to bring social services closer to the people with disabilities. This has been disclosed by Dr. Patrick Ojok in the Department of Community and Disability Studies during the second annual Disability Rights Conference that was held at Makerere University under the theme Promoting Accessibility and Inclusion of Persons with Disabilities for Sustainable Development in Uganda.
The bottlenecks, the inclusion of persons with disabilities in development. And development has multiple domains. There are issues of political participation, economics, issues of education. Today is the knowledge society, so we talk about technology. There are issues of reproduction, health. All these domains are tackled from different aspects. We need to now enforce the available legal instruments on accessibility. The good thing is we now have policies, we have the laws, we have the detailed standards and regulations. The problem or the challenge is that these are not yet enforced. What is required is donors, government should extend support towards research on accessibility. For example,
Welcome to Business News Tonight. The public has been urged to embrace other sources of energy and reduce their dependence on wood fuel. This was at the launch of the Running Out of Trees campaign that promotes afforestation by ensuring all citizens plant at least a tree. The initiative is being implemented by Uganda Breweries in partnership with the Ministry of Water and Environment.
Uganda continues to lose its forest cover at an alarming rate. It is on record that Uganda faced loss of its forest estate from 24% of the total land area in 1990 to 12.4% in 2015, translating into a loss of 2.4 million hectares in a span of just 25 years.
As root stands, we are running out of trees. We are running out of trees. And if you run out of trees, the consequences are dire. Right now, when it rains, Mount Elgon and Karamoja, we get floods in Teso and the other low-lying areas because of the loss of the tree covers and the swamps.
Embracing other alternative sources of energy is encouraged and dependence on wood fuel discouraged.
You know, when you travel up north, you see all these charcoal lorries coming down. There has to be a level of public sensitization and social mobilization so people understand the alternatives and people see the consequences of their short-term actions. And I think that is also a bigger role for government, but for all of us. How do you get this message across that there are other ways of making your livelihood in a more sustainable way for themselves and for their countries?
It is against this background that the Ministry of Water and Environment and Uganda Breweries Limited have launched the Running Out of Trees road campaign.
Whilst we destroy 250,000 hectares of forest cover every year,
we're actually only planting back 7,000. And that, men and women, is the burning platform. If you do the maths, it means we have a net of 243,000 hectares of forest cover being destroyed. More concerning is even the protected areas.
The afforestation campaign is one step towards mobilizing corporate entities to occupy their seat at the high table of protecting and restoring Uganda's tree cover.
Uganda's social and digital media influencers have got a chance to tour the Albertine Graben and get acquainted with the ongoing oil and gas activities there. In another development, Vivo Energy has expanded its Shell service stations, a move that seeks to bolster the company's countrywide network. We have the details in our business highlight.
Besides training the online writers and bloggers, the influencers will have the opportunity to traverse the oil-rich Albertine Graben.
Social media today is one of the fastest ways in which people acquire information. So we believe that the discussion on oil and gas needs to be an informed one based on knowledge. So the aim is to build a critical mass of people with adequate knowledge on the oil and gas projects, the opportunities that are there, the status of the projects, and the country's roadmap towards oil and gas production.
Before hitting the road to Hoima district, a debrief on the current developments in the oil and gas industry was conducted in Kampala.
So it's important that we appreciate these two aspects of how the company recover their money. And at the end of this session, the worst thing would be for you to say the companies are going to recover their money of building the refinery from the oil. No, they're going to recover it from the gate prices.
Some of the key areas the group will visit include Kingfisher Development Area, Tilenga Development Area, and Enviroserve Waste Treatment Plant. In another news, Uganda's gas stations are gradually turning into one-stop business centers, a development lauded by the political class.
We have been seeing such things happen in other countries, especially those developed countries, where petrol stations have been turned into a one-stop shopping center for everything, lunch and shopping, plus everything like service. I'm very happy that the trend is also extending to the Ugandan community.
Vivo Energy Uganda, which has expanded its Shell service stations to 151 in the country, is promising to completely change the face of its gas stations to suit the changing needs of its customers.
Yeah, our MD talked about the partnerships, he talked about the loyalty club, he talked about more. We will not stop there. We know that the world is a changing area, and we'll continue to do that, and we'll do whatever it takes to make sure that we stay ahead and our customers remain satisfied.
With a growth rate of 6%, Uganda's economy is one of the fastest growing in Africa. This economic growth has called for growth in purchasing power parity, and oil products are not the exception.
Shell prides of creating over 400 direct and indirect jobs for the locals in its expansion move. Dennis Igoa and Robin Yoso for UBC Business.
Yes. The Ministry of Tourism, Wildlife and Antiquities has today received and approved the results of students graduating from the Uganda Hotel and Tourism Training Institute located in Jinja. This has been done in preparation for the institution's 11th graduation ceremony happening on the 1st of November this very year.
Out of a total number of 328 enrolled students at the Hotel and Tourism Training Institute in Jinja, 284 successfully completed their programs. However, only 228 passed, leaving 58 who did not qualify to graduate.
Out of the total graduates, 228, the female are 158, male are 170, female are 69%, and male are 31%.
This is the 11th set of students going to be graduated by the Institute since its establishment in 1994.
Given the constant curricular reviews that are competence-based, we therefore request Honorable Minister to get an additional financial support to enable us to perform our mandate to the required standards.
Overseen by the Ministry of Tourism, Wildlife and Antiquities, the institution still grapples with the lack of ample space for skilling and the lack of robust managerial systems to run the facility.
I therefore want you to know from now on that among the objectives of government is to make your institute a world-class center of excellence. This is it. Why? Precisely because in the tourism value chain, hospitality industry is a very, very important element.
Efforts to link the institution with international hospitality and tourism institutions, like the University College of Birmingham in the United Kingdom, are underway as a move to polish the future graduates. Reporting for UBC, Wadulo Makanol in Kampala.
We straight away go to sport, and a story there. Number one, Uganda's new national team head coach Jonathan McKinstry has named his squad for the double header of the 2021 Africa Cup of Nations ties due next month. Uganda will travel to play Burkina Faso on the 13th of November before hosting Malawi home 4 days later.
The wait is finally over, with Uganda Cranes head coach Jonathan McKinstry naming the Uganda Cranes squad to contest upcoming qualifiers.
Nicholas Kazozi, Alan Okello, Alan Chiambade.
The 25-man squad that prepares for two AFCON games, first against Burkina Faso away and Malawi at home, is almost 98% that which played at AFCON 2019 in Egypt.
The entire 25-man squad will only come together in the 2 days prior to playing Burkina Faso. So our time really is limited. We travel, we will train together in Burkina Faso on the Tuesday, but prior to that, we will only have access to a very limited number of our players. Some of the players, like those based in Egypt, will be coming to Kampala earlier because the league in Egypt is now closed until after the qualifiers. Those players I will be working with on a small group basis.
Dennis Onyango leads the cast of goalkeepers, with the defense having the usual suspects like Hassan Waswamawanda, Joseph Ochai and Bevis Mugabe, while the midfield includes Tadeo Luanga, Kalida Ucho and Mike Azira. The strikers are Emma Okwi, Patrick Kadu, Alexis Baka, Farouk Meya, William Kistoruwaga and Abdul Umara.
Obviously, modern technology allows us to watch basically every game, especially in Europe. Sometimes some of the African leagues can be difficult, a bit more difficult, but in Europe we can watch all of the games, 90 minutes each week. So I've been able to review a lot of Baka's games. He would have been involved in the Ethiopia camp, but had a little bit of a hip injury. Even though he was playing with his team, he wasn't training as much. They were getting him game to game.
The 25-man squad has only 5 locally best players, including Alan Okello, Charles Lukwago and Nicholas Kasozi of KCCA, and the Vipers duo of Fad Bayo and Halid Lualiwa. The Federation has also in the interim named McKinstry's backroom staff, with the 2 assistants Abdallah Mubiru and Livingston Imbabazi and Geoffrey Massa as the team coordinator.
The assistants, in the end, we will want to have an assistant who is full-time, but we are giving a chance to both of them to work with the coach for a period of not exceeding 6 months, after which we shall make a final decision. I think that one will be better. But we may also make a final decision and appoint someone outside those.
The 2021 Africa Cup of Nations will be hosted by Cameroon, with the 24 teams that must come from 12 groups, of which Uganda shares B with Malawi, Burkina Faso and South Sudan. The top 2 from each group make the grade.
All the best for our dear Uganda cranes. The 2019 Uganda Palm Holdings Golf Open will climax on the 6th of November at Serena Chigo Golf Course. The tournament has attracted golfers from the East African region and the Central region. Amateur golfers with handicap 09 as well as professional golfers will be on course to compete for overall cash prize of 40 million shillings. In a bid to ensure the smooth running of the 4-day competition, CBA Bank has donated 15 million shillings, while Palm Holdings has provided a total of $10,000.
This was the Kenya Open. Uhuru Kenyatta, the president of Kenya, said that he wanted to see this event grow bigger. So what happened is that we as a Uganda Golf Union took advantage of this, and we asked Kenya Golf Union to have a couple of events in Uganda. We initially asked for 3 events. So as the Uganda Golf Union, we contacted, we knew that we had the Uganda Open, which is a premier event, amateur event in Africa. It has a pro-am, so a pro event, so we said we could onboard that. And then we asked for 2 more. One was the Entebbe Open, and we asked Kitante to expand on their Open, so to have the Kitante Open. Fortunately, both clubs accepted. And then this year, when the calendar came up and Rwanda was supposed to host an event, Lake Victoria Serena jumped onto the opportunity since the event in Rwanda was cancelled.
It's going to be an exciting event. It's similar to what the Ugandan Open showed us. There's a lot of talented golfers that will be coming back to compete for $10,000 of prize money. We've got some good confirmations from players from Kenya already, and we of course have got the confirmations from our local professionals as well. The players will be playing stroke play, which which will start on Wednesday. It will play Wednesday, Thursday, with a cut being made on Friday, which will be the players that can actually compete for prize money. So.
Yes, now let's go straight to Daphne Kawasita to get to know what the weather forecasts will be doing.
Cloudy conditions prevailed in most parts of the country, with some areas having showers. Though some areas had sunny intervals this morning, but then later in the afternoon we had cloudy conditions with some areas having isolated heavy showers. Thanks for tuning in to UBC. I'm Daphne Kawasita Ansamba, presenting to you the weather update from Uganda National Meteorological Authority. According to a report that received this morning, Kasese reported the highest amount of rainfall of 27.8 millimeters. Gulu had 15.6 millimeters, and then Kabale we had 12.2 millimeters. Masindi we had 0.9 millimeters. Checking on the satellite image over Africa, it shows that the high pressure centers in the north and in the south have squeezed the rain belt over our region. That's why we're having showers in most parts of Uganda. Tomorrow we're expecting to start the day with sunny intervals in the northern part of Uganda, but then in the southern we're expecting to have light isolated showers. Later in the afternoon we're expecting showers in most parts of the country. Temperatures are expected to rise to 27 degrees Celsius in most parts of Uganda, apart from some few areas like in the northeastern where we're expecting temperatures to rise to 28, and then in Kampala, our capital city, 26, and then in Kabale we're expecting temperatures to rise to 21 degrees. Going beyond Uganda, we're expecting London and Pretoria to have sunny intervals. Showers expected in Nairobi with temperatures rising to 25, and then in Dubai we're expecting sunny conditions with temperatures rising to 36 degrees Celsius. Thanks for tuning into UBC. Continue watching UBC. Have a blessed night.
Thank you so much, Daphne Kawasita, for the weather updates. My name is Michael Jen Lukumwa. Let's have a look at the headlines first before we wind up. In what we had for you, causes for injustice should be addressed holistically, says President Yoweri Museveni. Floods have paralyzed business in Kaliro and Palisa. Translocation of giraffes has been challenged by hostile weather. While Market Street, the Cranes coach has named 25-man squad for AFCON. Yes, that is all we had for you. We thank you so much for being part of the bulletin. My name is Michael Jordan Lukomoa with Mohammed Mugalu, the sign language interpreter here, and the whole group. We wish you the best of the night. Let's catch you in our other programs. Bye-bye.
Hi friends, welcome to our program, and we are here to show you solutions for your situation, for your problem, for your troubles that maybe you are facing in your life. Maybe right now you don't know what to do. You have a troublesome life. You got involved with wrong people. You got involved in a dispute, and now they are threatening you, or they had cursed you, and you are suffering with that. Dear friend, do not do anything wrong. Do not make things worse. Let us fight together and with God. What God did in the life of this person that changed his life to the right decision.
At the Universal Church of the Kingdom of God.
I'm Richard Asia. I was addicted to drinking alcohol, smoking and sleeping up with women. It was the influence of peer group which made me to do all those. I could move into clubs, to different clubs from one place to another. My worst moment was I was about to fight with a bouncer in a club, and that bouncer was going to kill me. As a result of all those addictions, my family members were not really happy. I lost respect from my friends, shame to my side, also from my fellow workmates, of all the characters which I was doing. It was not really good. I was passing by the church, I was invited, then I got engaged into the chain of prayers. I started meditating on the word of God. Then my life changed, my finances stabilized, I had love from my family as I was in the church, and above all, I received the Holy Spirit. I'm free from drinking alcohol, I'm free from smoking, I'm free from sleeping around with women, I'm free from all addictions which I had. I'm a free man and I'm very happy. Have joy and peace.
Join us for a moment of prayer.
Let us unite our faith and pray. My Lord, in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ, I have people, my Lord, watching us now from different places, backgrounds, people suffering with diseases, sickness, envy, jealousy, people suffering, my Lord Jesus, with witchcraft. There are people, my Lord Jesus, troubled, and they don't know what to do. So, Father, you are the solution. So bless those who are watching us every night in UBC and in the morning as well. Make them to be blessed, be overcomer, and don't allow them to suffer anymore. In Jesus' name, amen. Let us drink from the water. I'm inviting you to take part of one of our meetings here in Acaceiro, number 812 George Street. Believe me, God can transform your life. May God bless. See you next time. Bye-bye.
to you by Pega Masape from Airtel is back. And everyone, we mean everyone, gets a bonus. Airtel, the smartphone network.